So we're going to get started with the afternoon final session. We're going to begin. So the rest of the day today is really going to be devoted to looking forward to new technologies and how they're going to potentially impact this industry. We're going to start with a conversation about messaging and chatbots. We're going to move on to an interesting presentation about a new application using device charging, which is always a challenge when you're traveling, sort of converting that into a revenue opportunity, which is a very interesting thing we're looking forward to hearing about. And then we're going to wrap it up with a discussion about augmented reality, virtual reality, which is maybe not a today issue for publishers, but certainly something that has a potential impact down the road for really anyone trying to put buyers and sellers together. So we're going to begin. Roger Doe from Qsearch, and that chair's Moy, and he's going to. We asked him to sort of give us sort of an overview on the sort of something I call conversational commerce, the idea of using messaging applications to help businesses communicate with their consumers, enable commerce, enable customer service, a whole range of things. It has really broad and deep implications. So Roger's going to lay that out for us. So come on up. And please join me in welcoming Roger. There you go, sir.
You guys should have a mic.
Yeah, we'll give you one.
It's good to be back here for the second year in a row. Why do you guys always schedule me right before Halloween? Last time, I prophesized you guys would be dead by now because the Google artificial intelligence will be killing you. I'm sorry I'm wrong this year. Maybe next. The new face of the challenge facing industry is not this destructive robot. It's a very cute robot, chat robot. Chat robot is going to be a lot more dangerous to the business because it doesn't attack the business of search of information. It focuses on human behavior. Chatbot is not a technology per se. It is a persuasion method. And it has far more implication than anybody think about this right now. All the major players are developing chatbot, a chat interface, a way to get information from the user and a way to change the user's behavior. Now, if you look at it, Apple with Siri, Cortana from Microsoft, Facebook, and Google all have chatbot. But that's not the real challenge. The challenge is not human to human. Chat layer is a way to completely upset the traditional business model. Chatbot will be the final layer in the not so distant future between any business to an end consumer. Even if you're in a B2B business, ultimately one of the business have to sell something to a consumer. Very few pure B2B business will survive. So the chat layer basically replaces a final producer to a final purchaser. It will pervasively affect every single chain of value creation and value extraction. This is why we will be killed by the chatbot, not the giant, massively menacing Google search algorithm. Even Google knows this. As the dominant search engine, they're now trying to create their own chat program without the power base of a social graph like Facebook has. Facebook developing a chat layer is natural. It was part of the product. Connectivity is critical. But why is Facebook, Microsoft putting so much effort into the chat layer? Because ultimately, that's the tool any business, even B2B platform business, need to get customer. It is the most effective, persuasive, and persistent behavior changing mechanism we have seen so far. Facebook Marketplace, which just came out. I'll skip it because that wonderful presentation. Let me show you something what happened. This is Carousel, a used item platform that uses chat to enable user to answer question about the product. They even use chat to figure out where to meet. So this program doesn't really rely on sophisticated GPS system. It lets human beings handle the complex process of exchanging information, evaluating information, and making an agreement, all based on chat. Without the sophisticated GPS system, without the sophisticated pricing comparison, it taps in the human's ability to make decision, engage, trust, all through chat. Very successful. It just launched into its 14th city. Very slow expansion. Now, once you have this amazing ability to chat, you can create almost anything. And Facebook did. Facebook just launched Marketplace. So they have all the social graph, the social connectivity that underpin the people who trust each other. And they have combined this chat ability with location. I don't see Carousel expanding into the 16th market. I think they'll be competed out of the market very soon. Facebook now has the ability to replicate any chat-based business. The holy grail of persuasion everybody's trying for. Even Microsoft, the most unfriendly business-style software giant, is trying to reach persuasion. Because work productivity, connectivity is no longer sufficient to get you that sale. You need to have the ability to constantly persuade. Persuade by objective fact, which is Google really got searching fact. Persuade by social factor. Your friend in this group all trusts this nail salon. Or by proximity. Facebook has all that. And it fuse all these technology together by talking to you. That's just the first layer. It scares me just to think about the future. Facebook Marketplace. Now, this is why chat, in the context of the local search and local marketing, is so important. Ogilvy uses for behavior economic framework to understand how each technology affects a human being differently. We started with the operator. It's purely psychological. It's a one-on-one interaction. You can interrogate, ask more clarity. Then we move to Yellow Pages, where you remove all the interactivity by having a massive index. So it's an economic play. Then we had the web version 1 of search. Very straightforward. Whoever doesn't put information online doesn't get searched. This search is very, very horrible. This is where the hybrid of the two models came together. Google, having the economic advantage of databases and the ability to integrate search. This is how they were able to shift their pricing model from charging the business for publication to a third-party model. Without this hybrid, Google would not exist. And now we moved away from psychology. Chatbot stands at the intersection of technology, economic, and the human touch. This is why chat is so persuasive, so effective. Because he removed the limitation, he upset the financial model, and he builds on genuine humans' ability to ask questions, to integrate information, and to make contract. This is why sometimes I stay up late at night just thinking about these kind of questions, because it scares me. Okay, the ultimate goal of any chatbot is to learn how to mimic being a human. When the chatbot can answer your question, supply advices seamlessly, you believe it's a human. And by the psychological transference, trust is established. And the chatbot, just for example, Facebook has 8 years worth of your chat history. You can send the artificial intelligence to learn how you talk. Do you prefer Short sentences? Complex sentences? Do you ask questions? What is your favorite verb? When do you talk? When do you reach out and talk to people? We have the first global scale behavior database for computer to learn. Anybody ever get an email from Nigeria saying you need to send $1 million? Yeah, wait till a chatbot learn how to do that. It's coming. It is coming because chatbot is not more than text. It's not more than text. Microsoft have a near human perfect voice emulator. Imagine how much it costs to put a chatbot to persuade you to give him or her your bank account information. Over and over by changing the tactic. They will even mention the name of your friends, your employer. I'm not worried about deep artificial intelligence launching nuclear weapon. I'm worried about chatbot persuading you to vote for one candidate or another. That's what I'm worried about. All the major problems we face in the world come down to politics. Politics is the agreement and the disagreement between people. The biggest agent you may choose in your future as a brand spokesperson, as a candidate, could be the type of artificial intelligence you create. These are going to be our proxy online. That scares me. Okay. This is how we look at chat. Chat is a layer upon the existing infrastructure you have. If you look at the Facebook on the second column, it has the data, it has the social graph. And when you evolve to the next version of chat, you add a conversation. Look at Google. Google historically has had problem creating social program. It links people together through email, through work processes, but it does not have the ability for conversation, for social stickiness. Yet, even Google, knowing their deficiency in their resource, are starting to push out chatbot. Google Chatbot is very interesting because Allo has a hybrid function. Right now, I can chat with any one of you in the Google Allo program, and I can ask the chatbot to provide information to the both of us. So it's an instant way to create a hybrid conversation for information, for agreement, for contract. Something we have not seen in other chat programs yet. But Google is spending so much resource because they know conversational interface is how we will be doing our work, how we will shop, how will we make decisions. That is something that really is truly amazing because we have not seen this much resource into this small of a technology stack. This conversational chatbot is not technically savvy, but it's critical to the business coming up. Mobile, if you look at mobile first is the Google search, very old version. Then we move into chat search. The next evolution coming, and you can already buy this, is baked in chat. Amazon, in order to help its e-commerce business, has a product called Echo. You can order pizza just by saying, send me the last pizza order I had. Google is baking chat into hardware infrastructure. In the future, you won't be deciding between a Wi-Fi enabled iPhone or a 3G, 4G enabled iPhone. You will be buying special edition hardware just so they don't have the chat function. That's how invasive chat will be. It will be baked in almost everything we touch. Google, Amazon, they already have home automation. Apple is getting into it, and next, I think you will see a Facebook for home. I really do believe, because conversation, we want to know everything. The information people want to know everything, and this is our way to get into the pervasiveness of life. I'm sure privacy will be a big issue, unless your balance sheet is big enough, then it won't be an issue. Hey. This diagram scares me even more, mainly because I really should buy McDonald's stock rather than a hamburger. This is the future. The future is not human to bot. It is human to chatbot to another chatbot to another end source, business, other human being. So today, I have to talk to a chatbot, and there's a human being at the end of it. Facebook chatbot basically is learning how to answer questions initiated by a human being. My wife has a nail salon in Singapore, and we use Facebook chat to accept appointment. Recently, all the appointment message, Facebook has a little box say, is this a request for appointment? When we started clicking yes, the question starts going away because the machine has learned this type of question in this format is the request for appointment. Hopefully it won't be long where Facebook will actually take the appointment for us and remind both the client and the shop staff there's a client coming to the appointment at 3 p.m. Or it will ping the client's chat program, say, are you going to be able to make the 3 p.m.? And based on the GPS calculation from where they are and my shop, tells me the probability of this client being on time and automatically offer her, would you like to reschedule? You're not seeing a chat program as a way to get more customer. You're seeing a deeply invasive system where chatbot dominate every layer of your work process, in removing all the middlemen. Facebook also have the ability, if you're connected with your database, they can tell how much inventory you have of a particular product you have. When they know your inventory, they know your appointment, Facebook can actually schedule your staff for you. They can even hire people based on a set of HR questions that other AI has learned. I'm not worried about nuclear missile being launched. I'm worried about my kid not having to be able to find a job because most of the service job has been replaced by artificial intelligence, wearing a human face, learning how humans behave, and can predict the action. Good, my Halloween effect has been achieved looking at your faces. Yeah. Okay, this is why when Facebook launched Workplace 2 weeks ago, I signed up right away. This allowed the chat program to reach into your entire organization. Imagine in your entire organization, there's one artificial intelligence knowing what you're doing. Which department head knows everything inside your company? Your chat program will before you do. Okay? This is why we think consumer is going to be, one of the biggest takeaway is chunking. Chatbot can ask you for a question in multiple steps. It doesn't require you to have the complete search parameter up front. And you can refine your search as you go along. This is a lot more human. This is the biggest part. And this way, chatbot can make decisions in the absence of complete information. Search can't do that. Search needs a complete query, else it stalls in the process. The chatbot can keep asking you a question until it finds an action it can take on your behalf. Really, the biggest part is getting into your business process. The chatbot can be the soul of your organization. It literally knows everything that goes on in your organization, even predict stuff that's going on. This is the greatest way to upend all business model. When there's one central system controlling the producer and controlling the consumer and making a match along the way. The future is robot, so let's just find the correct Lord overlord to start worshiping. But I think there's actually a unique opportunity for publisher. All these chat depends on social connectivity. There's no objectivity in the chat space. How do you know one restaurant is better than another based on the votes? I think publisher can create their own siloed messaging robot for the consumer, where you provide objective, up-to-date, and relevant information. Objectivity is very hard to come by in the Facebook world because everything's by individual. It's a statistical summary of personal opinion. So there's no objectivity. If one restaurant has really good sanitation score, that will not be reflected by personal opinion. So I think the publisher can be a force for objective truth based on their own chatbot. So the challenge is, with repeat behavior, the chatbot in my personal space is more important. When I'm in discovery mode, when I travel to a new country, a new region, I want objective information, overlay personal opinion. Objectivity is very important when we have fear of the unknown. No amount of my friend living in Singapore telling me this restaurant is great in Kuala Lumpur is going to persuade me to try until I have some sort of third-party objective information to go on. Because there's a limit to the power of knowledge when we're just in our own siloed world. So I think a publisher, I will talk to you, Bilal from Mauritius. Mauritius Telecom can have their own chat program that dominate everything in Mauritius. When a visitor comes, they switch from a local search model to a foreign visitor recommendation model. They can control and own the information and help their local business maintain vitality and honesty through a way of objective data. I think there's a huge opportunity for the publishing industry in their region as a force of objective, fair process. Because right now, if you get you can ruin a business by negative, persistent review, even when it's not true. So I think this is where the value comes in. Siloed, regional-based, objective, because the publisher have great data, and with the more open data opening up from the local government, this is a unique opportunity to establish a fair and objective view of the world that's rooted in real-life consequences by government data, open data, and your knowledge of the business. Thank you.
Okay, Roger. You can just use that. If there's anyone who has a question, just raise your hand. A couple things. Is there an opportunity to enable small businesses to use bots to build their own business?
Sure.
Because I'm thinking of, there's always that thing that happens when new technologies come in. They always sort of give big brands an edge.
Sure.
And then small businesses are catching up and often left behind.
Sure.
How is it going to work with chatbot?
Sure. With chatbot, the small business will primarily use chatbot for customer relation management. Facebook is an excellent example. That wasn't me.
That was not. That was probably.
So small business can use that for CRM, but the question is, where does the persistency of that relationship exist? On Facebook, which ultimately you're generating data for the robotic overlord, on your own web platform, which is very expensive for small business to maintain. And this is where a chatbot system maintained by a local publisher could be a great value to small business, because you can be an impartial third-party data provider and have a persistent place for them to maintain their customer relation.
Okay. And the other thought I had just for people in this room is, and you talked about chat as a tool for a consumer application.
Yeah.
What about as a business-to-business application to help? I talked about earlier this need for an efficient service component for publishers to provide service and use service as an enabling tool for revenue generation.
Sure.
Unpack how that would work a little bit.
Okay. Chatbot can improve all efficiency, but it can also make transactions simpler. I purchased a product from audible.com. For a year and a half, I can't find the product renew page. It's a huge oversight. But I was able to use their customer chatbot. I got my product renewed in 2 inputs. I told them I want to renew this package. They say, okay, can you authorize by saying yes? I say yes. That was a 25-second interaction with no web page, unstructured, and everything went through. Imagine the necessary business resource you have to put in to generate that, complete that process. Chatbot can actually break your normative business process into a simple verification model. That's a huge improvement. Imagine you renew your contract with your SME client by sending them a text. Would you like to renew? Yes or no? Last year, we got you 77 visitors per month. Would you like to renew? It's very simple. Simple context is what makes chat so powerful.
I think, did we have a question? Yes.
So I guess the main question is, you're talking about a lot of fear here. Your son won't get a job.
Fear sells.
Right, your son. But I mean, aren't we at a point where, when technology such as this evolves, we don't really know what's coming, right? So as every stage has evolved, we've already, we've created jobs that didn't exist before.
Yes.
So wouldn't that be the same in the future? That we're going to create different jobs that are going to be on top of that stack, if you will, or are you the other way where intelligence is going to take over and we're going to be left being on the beach in Phuket?
That's not so bad.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
We'll be left on the beach as bait for other larger mammals to eat. New technology ultimately accomplishes one thing: achieve your objective cheaper. We move from operator to publish yellow page because it's cheaper. So ultimately, chat will be used for the most efficient deployment of capital. I don't see chat being something to sell a Cadillac with, because the value proposition there. The most efficient use of labor and capital is what business is about. So I think chatbot will move us away from labor into a technical replacement of labor, which is code, and code basically running electricity. We will create new jobs, not in any human proportion to the amount of job we replace. Hey, 25 minutes.
Good to go.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Roger.